think we're live. What is going on, folks? Welcome back to Thursday night, live from the Your Lake Fort Guy Garage. Hey, it's the Berkeley week, Berkeley tournament. When you get in tonight, let me know. Drop me a comment. Let me know you're here. Big to doings. Bass champs, and Skeeter helps them put it on, and just awesome tournament organization. Brian Howie, appreciate you dropping in. What a great job Bass Champs does at all of their big bass events, and we've got one of the biggest of the year, the Berkeley Big Bass event. A little bit of a unique week on the baits that you can use out here on Lake Fork. So I'm going to tell you the baits I'm using, but I'm going to relate it to the Berkeley baits that you guys can use, because it's not just Berkeley, it's pure fishing. It's Sabile, there's some other brands in there too, but we're going to talk about the baits that you can use to help you capitalize this weekend on Lake Fork if you're fishing the Berkeley Big Bass event. But you guys that aren't fishing Lake Fork, we'll also be talking about those baits in a way that you can use them on your lakes as well. So let's dig right into it. It's the fall of the year. It's the fall, guys. It's getting good. The fish are chasing bait. The bite's getting better and better and better and better, and it's getting a little more predictable. The fish are getting more grouped up, especially in the backs of the creeks. I think the deep fish are like real close to getting grouped up. I'm starting to just see the first couple little pods of the yellow bass show up out there, and that's kind of the telltale sign that the offshore fall bite is about to go down. When you get the massive groups of yellow bass offshore, that's when the offshore bite goes down in the fall. Those big bass really key on those. And once you get the massive groups of yellow bass, you'll start seeing the massive groups of shad and the massive groups of just a mixture. There'll be a mixture of white bass, crappie, sand bass, and the bass will be in there hanging around them, running in amongst them. It gets crazy what goes on out there offshore. So I'm really looking forward to that. But for right now, for this weekend, let's focus. Stop chasing squirrels, Billy. Let's focus on what's going on right now, because that's what you guys are here for tonight. So for right now, let's focus on the backs of the creeks, because that's what we're doing, the backs of the creeks. And some pockets. It doesn't have to be like a big, huge creek arm. So let's get it started right here. Hey, they are starting to bite the old chatterbait again a little bit. We're going with the shad pattern. We're going with the swim bait trailer. I'm using a chatterbait, a 3/8 ounce chatterbait with a smash tail junior swim bait, little paddle tail swim bait. Now, for my Berkeley guys, for the guys fishing the Berkeley tournament, what you can do is you can go buy the jackhammer chatterbait. You have to take the skirt off of it, put a Berkeley skirt on there. They have Berkeley shirts, put a Berkeley skirt on it, and then put a little Berkeley swim bait on it. And I would suggest either the grass pig. Not my best. It doesn't have the best tail action on the grass pig, but they have one I believe it's called like a rib shad or something like that. They have one that basically looks like that. It looks like the little smash tail junior. Also looks very similar to a Kitech in a lot of ways. So that is a bait that you can absolutely catch some really nice fish on. You can catch some really fat, like just barely under the slot fish, like those perfect unders are biting this. Also some big slot fish catching this, and with a chatterbait, you never know when an over is going to show up, especially this time of year now that the big shad has started showing up in the backs of these creeks. All right, let's talk about bait number 2. Now, I don't know what the name of the Sabile Lipless Crankbait is, but the Lipless Crankbait is bait number 2. Okay, and we've gone back down to the 1/4 ounce. You can use a regular shad pattern. It doesn't have to be gold chrome. They are biting the whites, the grays, the silvers, anything that flashes kind of like a shad. They'll bite it right now. But dropping back down to the 1/4 ounce for some reason, I don't really understand why, but for whatever reason, this was a big deal this week. We could not catch them at all on the 1/2 ounce all of a sudden the last few days, but the 1/4 ounce would catch them. Like, that was just what was happening on Lake Fork. So absolutely go get you a Sabile 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait that's in some kind of a chrome or shad type pattern. If you see fish schooling, if you see them chasing bait in the back of the creeks, usually it's going to be small fish on small bait, and this sucker out here will catch every single one of them right now. So this is a great bait to try and catch under slot fish for the tournament. A great bait to catch numbers on. You guys that are fishing other lakes in the area, it holds true. This is a great bait to go catch a lot of fish on in the fall of the year. Probably the best one you can use for that. All right, bait number 3. This one's been holding steady, doing really good. And this is picking up our bonus fish. This is cleaning up the schools of fish. Whenever we get in there and we get to catch them on that lipless crankbait or that chatterbait or whatever we're throwing, we're catching them on moving baits. When they quit biting that, we clean them up with the little 5-inch stick bait. Watermelon red's a good color. You can also use watermelon blue. I think watermelon anything with sparkle would work. I'm throwing that on a 3/0 EWG hook. And yes, I am using the brand new hooks from 6 cents. 6 cents now is a full line of hooks, in case you didn't know. You might want to check them out because they are, like everything, 6 cents makes really, really good. Berkley has one. It's called the General. They have a stick bait called the General. It's a good stick bait. That's the one I would suggest using in the Berkley tournament. For you guys everywhere else, that's the 6 cents clout, Cinco, Yum Dinger, whatever your preference is, on 5-inch stick baits. But definitely have, if you're fishing the Berkley tournament on Lake Fork, have a bait called the General tied on. It's in the power bait line, and have that rigged on a 3/0 EWG weightless Texas rig. And whenever you find some active fish and you catch a couple on moving baits, if they stop biting, be sure you fish that area very thorough with a stick bait, because you can often pick up several more fish doing so. All right, for bait number 4. Now this is not a Berkley bait. This is my 6 cents Movement 80X. Not catching a lot of fish on this because it's a little bit bigger bait, but we are catching our bigger fish on this. This bait can pop a big old giant fish up shallow right now. I'm just going to tell you, bigger shallow diving crankbaits can absolutely catch the biggest fish that you can possibly catch right now. I don't know what the square bill is that Berkley has, but I would throw a square bill. Now I would downsize it. Honestly, if I was going to fish in this tournament, if I was a tournament fisherman, I would be downsizing my square bill. I would not be throwing one this big. I'd be throwing like a 1.5 or 1.0 size square bill, and making sure that I'm trying to catch those fish that are chasing the small bait, those under the slot fish, and still giving myself a chance at a big fish, because a big fish will react to a small crankbait. It absolutely happens all the time in the fall. So find yourself a good Sabile or whatever brand they have, small little square bill type crankbait that will deflect off wood real good, and go get after them. Now, bait number 5, I don't have one, but I'm going to tell you about it. Berkley makes a bait. It's like a whopper plopper. It's called a Chapo. Get the smallest one you can. Don't get the big ones. Get the smallest little Berkley Chapo that you can find in a shad or a bone pattern. That little topwater will catch a lot of fish right now too. So that's your 5th bait of the night. And I'm going to throw a bonus bait in there. Berkley Power Worm. Where is it? I know I've got one in here somewhere. I don't. My customer left with it. My customer had it tied on his rod. He left with my power worm. But just a 7 or 8 inch Berkley power worm. Now here's how you got to fish it. There's a little trick to this right now to catch fish on that Berkley power worm. And we've been throwing green pumpkin, but red shad, blue fleck, all these colors can work. Rig it on a 1/4 ounce with a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight. Rig it on a 4/0 straight shank offset worm hook. And what you got to do is go to the backs of these creeks and pockets, and you got to find grass. And then you got to find where a creek channel or a drain gets up next to that grass or goes through that grass, and you want to fish outside of the grass, in the creek channel, and on the edges of the creek channel where there's no grass or the grass is scattered and there is stumps, standing timber. That's the deal right now. Casting this bait, make a short cast, and pitching to the standing timber along the creek channel edges where the grass line ends, and right outside of that is a great way to catch bigger fish. We're not catching very many unders doing that. We're catching mostly slot fish, but it's a big fish pattern right now. You want to get a little bit deeper water, 3, 4, 5 foot, versus that real skinny water that a lot of these fish are chasing in. You want to ignore some of those chasing fish. This is a bite that you're trying to capitalize and trying to catch a big over the slot fish in this tournament. Ignore all those fish up there chasing. Yeah, you might catch some good ones up there. You might. And you will catch like some good under the slot fish. But what you can do is ignore that. Pull out to that channel, pull out to that drain, get outside of that grass, find that little bit deeper water, find the standing timber, and go to pitching and short casting that worm to all that standing timber. You can absolutely catch some really nice fish right now on a regular old ribbon tail power. All right, so we did the top 6 tonight. So I give you guys lots of options for the next couple days at Berkley. Now, let's get back in on some questions. Somebody says Tiger Truce time. Well, Tiger Truce is a color that's like bright orange and chartreuse. Absolutely not. Not for me right now. It is all about shad patterns. These fish are focused on shad. They're chasing shad. I'm only throwing shad pattern baits on my moving baits. Jared and Jace watching. Appreciate it. Sorry I keep bumping the camera around, guys. What's going on, Casey Gaffney, Chase Clark? What's up? What's up? What's up? Everybody saying, hey, hey, man, I appreciate it. What's up? All the way from Laredo, Texas. The Raging Cajun says, what's up, ha-has? What is going on, man? A lot of people saying, God dang, dude, look how many people. Look at all you guys. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it so much. Not a lot of questions so far tonight. Oh, Taylor's in the house. He said he saw a little Gary made a little appearance on video. Yeah, Gary will be making his annual fall on-screen debut, which he seems to show up every year this time. But little Gary, if you don't know, is a little 7-inch. Well, you know what? We'll just show you little Gary in case you didn't know. There is little Gary right there. I'm sorry, it's a 5-inch. This is the little Gary. This is 5-inch gizzard shad, weedless gizzard shad from Smash That Custom Baits. As you can see, a very lifelike, a very great little swim bait. And yes, he will make his own screen appearance for the fall coming up on Monday night right here on the YouTube channel. So. Do you fish the Pit Boss much? Yeah, you can fish the Pit Boss. You can flip those same trees that I'm talking about fishing power worm. You can catch fish on a Pit Boss. For some reason, this time of year, guys, they bite a ribbon-tail worm real good, so I kind of stick with that. But a Pit Boss is a very good bait. I've caught a ton of fish. A lot of you use it as a jig trailer and all that stuff. Have the Fish Life app been updated? So we updated the Fish Life app back at the beginning of October. I actually went in earlier this week. I wanted to make sure that I updated them and kept them fresh for you guys. I knew we had a big tournament coming up. I wanted to make sure those spots were right. And we changed nothing because everything that was on there is right. Like the offshore spots, there's a few fish getting there and there's more coming. They could show up any day. The stuff that's in the backs of the creeks, it's got fish. All of it has fish on it, like major way. So we ended up not changing anything even though we looked at it because it was just, there wasn't anything to change. So it wasn't anything that needed to be taken off or anything. So we left it how it was. Now, they were updated at the beginning of October, though. With the Berkeley tournament out there, how busy is the lake? Busy enough to check out a different lake? Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to get out of the crowd and go away, yeah. You can definitely go to another lake. It's not the busiest tournament. It's not like the Sealy's. It's not like the Mega Bass in the spring. It's a good tournament, though. I mean, yeah, it's going to be crowded. There's going to be a lot of boats. So if you don't want to fish around people, yeah, you need to go somewhere else. How long has it been since you tried a Silver Buddy? It still works. Been around for years. Yeah, a Silver Buddy is a great bait to fish a little bit later in the fall. It's coming up soon. Same time we throw those jig and spoons, Silver Buddy is a great bait to throw out there. Basically, what they used to call, oh, Little John. Remember the Little John? What's your thoughts on fishing frogs with fall bite? I love it. I love it. For some reason, I haven't been able to get them to bite it real good yet. I feel like they should be biting it right now, and they're not. And I really don't have the answer for that, but I've been throwing it, you know, here and there, and been trying to get them to bite it, but it just hasn't been working out for me. Fishing Midwest. I have to thank everyone for the prayer yesterday. I received the news I have been waiting for. My kidney is finally working the way it is supposed to and will not have to go on dialysis. Praise the Lord, brother, man. That is so, so great, dude. I know you watch every week, dude, and we appreciate it so much. And I know everybody was sending some prayers your way, knowing what's going on with your situation. So, man, that is the best news of the night. Hey, we're all going to have a great weekend because one of our fellow brothers is doing a lot better, and man, we're so happy for you, buddy. We're proud for you, happy for you. That is so awesome, dude. Congratulations. Somebody asked me something about cold water. I wanted to make sure I got that. What do you consider cold water temps, and how would you fish it? Well, I kind of consider cold water temps when we get down into the 50s, especially the lower half of the 50s, and anything below that is cold water to me. And it just depends on what that water temp is and what the trend is. The most important part, guys, is what is the trend doing? Is the water cooling into those temps, or is it rising up from colder temps? Because 53, when the water was 60 a week ago or 60 a couple days ago, if the water's 60 and then in a couple days falls to 53, that is a whole different story than if the water was 45 and rose to 53. If the water was 45 and rose to 53 in a couple days, if you know what you're doing, you're fixing to catch their butts, and you're going to go to the back of their creek, and you're going to throw moving baits around grass in the back of a creek, and you're fixing to whip them. I mean, you're maybe the best bite of the whole year. Some of your best days of the whole year will happen in that situation. If it's been 60-degree water and it falls to 53, that's some of the toughest conditions you can fish. You really have to slow down. You have to go finesse. Sometimes you have to go fish deep creek channels. So it's totally different depending on the trend. The trend is the big deal. If it's trending cold, if the water's trending colder in cold conditions, I like to go to deep creek channel bends. I like to go to deep offshore structure, and I like to go to somewhat deeper creek channel edges around grass. If I've got some relatively deeper water, say I've got some 5, 6 foot, 7 foot deep channels that run with some grass running right up next to them, then I like those as well. If it is warming into 53, then we get flat and we throw moving baits and we get after them. We've caught them on a buzz bait in January on warming trends like that. So it depends on the trend. Jerk baits. Hey, for you guys who watch me, y'all know that I don't really throw a jerk bait. Like I fully, freely admit that I don't really throw a jerk bait very much, but I just pulled that off the deck of my boat right there. So yes, I'm not catching a lot of fish on, but I'm like the world's worst jerk bait fisherman. It is that time of year where it's time to start throwing a jerk bait. So if you like throwing a jerk bait, if it's something you're confident in, get after it. Just get after it. Part of the problem is I'm fishing water so shallow a lot that I can't really work that jerkbait effectively. Sorry about that. Knocking the camera around. JW Wildlife, he has a high school tournament on Eagle Mountain Lake tomorrow. Any tips? Yeah, find bait. Get to the back of the creeks and the pockets and just keep moving. Keep the pedal to the metal. Fish really, really fast until you find obvious signs of bass chasing bait or an overwhelming amount of bait. One of those two things is what you're looking for. When you find one of those two things, get real thorough and go through there real methodically and catch every fish in there. And on your moving baits, use shad patterns. When you slow down, use a weightless stick bait or a Texas ribbon tail worm. Wake baits, yeah, wake baits are working a little bit. I have been catching just a few on that prototype 6 cents wake bait. I haven't really been talking about it because it's not for sale. I don't know when it's coming out, so I haven't really been featuring it, but I am catching a few on that jointed 6 cents wake bait. I'm fishing Joe Pool and the water temps are 72 degrees. You think the bait will be moving to the backs of the creeks? I think the bait will be in the backs of the creek. I think that a lot of the bait, most of the bait is already there. Most of the bait that's going to migrate to the backs of the creeks, guys, it's there right now. It's already in position. Yeah, when you hit that right around 70-degree mark, that's when it's there. Timmy Rhodes. Tim, I can't even share that story. Tim's bringing up hints to clue me into a story that we witnessed years ago. I can't talk about that on here, man. That's just wrong, dude. I wish I could share it because it's a good one. Old Scuba Steve. We might have fished a little boat versus boat derby against some friends, and one of them might have went swimming, and he might be known as Scuba Steve, but there's some extenuating circumstances we can't talk about on camera. That sucker was catching him on that topwater, though. Golly, I wish I could tell that whole story. Michael Burnside, swim baits. Yeah, swim baits. This is what we said last week. It's what you'll hear from me a lot. It is so hard for me to narrow it down to 5 baits right now. I gave you 6, and I've already said yes to like 3 or 4 more. In the fall, like so many things can work. Yeah, swim baits are working. Yes, absolutely. I've got great fish catch coming up on camera Monday on a swim bait. It's just stuff that looks like a shad, man. They're so focused on shad. Whatever you're doing that looks like a shad that you have confidence in, they will react to it right now. is the cold front going to push them back or slow them down? Well, for this weekend, the cold front's coming after the weekend. So for this weekend, no. This weekend is set up to fish extremely well for you guys. I'm going to be coaching soccer. I'm not going to be fishing Saturday or Sunday, but this weekend should fish really well. What spinnerbait do I like? I like a couple. I like a Sandtone. This time of year, I like a Sandtone Got 5. A little quarter-ounce Sandtone Got 5 with a little bit of willow blade is my favorite spinnerbait this time of year. Also like War Eagle spinnerbaits, but right now, that Sandtone Got 5 is the best one. Kobe Burleson, yes, I remember that. And I can't talk about that story either. What's my favorite square bill? It's not really a square bill because the bill's shaped weird, but that Movement 80X is my favorite shallow crankbait. Hands down. There's nothing else that moves like it, nothing else with that amount of vibration, and nothing else that's even close to the deflection qualities that bait right there has. It's unbelievable. So when the cold front does blow through next week, is it going to push them back? It's not going to move them out of the creeks. No, it's not even close to time for that. But we're getting water temps cold enough to where it might slow them down for a day or two in the post-frontal conditions. Like they might not bite real good, but they're not going to leave. They're not even close to leaving yet. I think I've kind of caught up on most of the questions. John Denny says Movement 80X was tearing them up last weekend. Yeah, it's been on fire, dude. That bait's been real good. I'm sure that I missed some questions because they were coming in hot and heavy. So if you want to re-ask one that I missed, please do now. Best line size to get bites on soft plastics, and which creeks are producing the most bites? Well, if you want to know which creeks are producing the most bites, in my opinion, then you're going to have to go get the Fish Life app. Because look, man, I give away as much as I can as far as information goes. And I'm the only person that I know of, only fishing guide that I know of that started sharing spots. Now, yeah, I'm selling them, but I'm selling them for a very fair price at a $20 subscription on the Fish Life app. You can go subscribe to Lake Fork for $20 a month. I'm going to give you my best 20 spots on Lake Fork every single month. And sometimes we'll update them mid-month if the pattern changes. So that's the best I can do. What was the other part of that question? Best line size to get bites on soft plastics. Well, when I'm flipping with a weight, like when I got that Texas rig and a quarter ounce, I'm throwing 20-pound line. I want the biggest line I can get away with and not affect the action on the bait too much. 20's pushing it on that little Texas rig. Sometimes I will throw 17 on it, but I really like to have big line because I fish Lake Fork. And yeah, we have big fish, but we also have a lot of heavy cover. And so you have to get control of those big fish immediately. I would not go anything less than 15-pound line on soft plastics on Lake Fork. Glide bait yet? Not yet. I've been throwing it. And I haven't even gotten a follow yet, so it's not happening yet. With a glide bait, even if you don't catch them on it, they'll tell you when it's time pretty quick usually because they'll follow it. You usually don't have to throw it very long. If you don't get a follower in the first 30, 45 minutes of throwing it, they're probably not going to bite that glide bait that day. Kobe Burleson, let me know, buddy. I'll be happy to take you guys out again, man. I really enjoyed y'all's trip. It was awesome. Can you suggest a method to fish a smaller body of water? Yeah. Unless there's some extenuating circumstances on your smaller body of water. So I saw somebody ask something about Lake Welsh. Lake Welsh has been extremely low. So low that I can't get my boat into it. I don't know how it is right now. I haven't been back out there to check on it in a while. I need to make some phone calls and see if I can get a boat in there yet. As soon as it is, I need to go check on it because we need to update the app. We haven't updated the app on Lake Welsh because we can't. We can't get a boat out there. I can't get my boat off the ramp out there. Or I couldn't last time I tried. So Unless there's extenuating circumstances like that, like Welsh where it's real low or something crazy like that. Right now, literally, it's just the small lakes aren't any different. You go to the backs of the coves. If they have a little creek, you go to the back of the creek, and you locate the bait fish. You move and move and move. Guys, the deal about fall is the fish are getting grouped up. When the fish get in bigger groups, that means a higher percentage of the water has absolutely no fish in it. Okay? So you have to find them. You got to hunt them down. You got to get on that trolling motor and go, 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 till you find those obvious signs, either bait, bass chasing bait on the surface, or an overwhelming amount of bait fish that you can visually see on the surface, because you will see them on the surface this time of year. Then once you find that, it's about fishing shad pattern moving baits, get them to react. And once you locate the fish, slow down, use those weightless plastic, use those Texas rigs, and clean them out. And I would do the exact same thing if I was fishing a farm pond or if I was fishing a lake. I would move, move, move in shallow water till I found those things and fish them that way. Any more news on Lake Monticello? I missed that lake. Cypress Spring tips. I have no Cypress Springs tip for you. I haven't been on Cypress Springs in forever, a couple years almost now. So I don't know anything about Cypress Springs. But Lake Monticello, no updates. Still is forever closed as far as anybody can tell at this point. Nobody has any clear path to getting it back opened up. Colton Doc, you're very, very welcome. Is a half-ounce weight too much for a Texas rig? I think so, up shallow. Up shallow it is. You know, if you're going to fish it out deep, it's certainly not. If you're going to fish it in even deeper water, like 8, 10, 12 foot, I don't think half-ounce is too much. But if you're fishing a half-ounce weight on a Texas rig in 3, 4, 5 foot of water, I definitely wouldn't go over 3/8. I really prefer a quarter, and even an eighth you can get away with, but I definitely wouldn't go over 3/8 in shallower water. What's my favorite flipping setup? It kind of depends on how heavy what I'm flipping is. In general, if I'm flipping something heavier, I really like the 7.5 extra heavy Lux rod, like for jigs and stuff. I also like the 7.7 heavy Century Series rod. Just something around 7.5 foot that's got a real heavy action to it is what I want for flipping. Punching, I want it to be as stout a rod as I can get. Yeah, something around 7.5 foot with a lot of meat to it is going to be what I want for flipping setup. And then I'm also going to want a high-speed reel. I need at least a 7-to-1 gear ratio reel. If I'm flipping with fluorocarbon and timber and such as that, I'm going to use 20-pound fluorocarbon. If I'm flipping grass mat, punching mats or something like that, flipping a lot of vegetation, lily pads, then I'm going to use a 65-pound braid. What is my favorite lure this season? That's impossible. There's so many that work right now. That's impossible. Gun to my head, pick one, probably a Lipless crankbait. Or a Chatterbait. Or a Movement 80X. I mean, there's so many that work this time of year. That's a really hard question. Well, man, you guys have been great. A lot of you guys joined us tonight. A lot of really good questions. A lot of questions, and I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate when you do that. That's my favorite part, is getting the questions from you guys and answering them as fast and as accurately as I can. It's just my way of saying thank you to you guys. I say it every week, and I can't say it. I'll never, ever, ever be able to say it enough. I could never repay you guys, all of you that watch the content, all of you that book trips. I see several of you on here every week that have booked trips with me. There's no way for me to express how much it means. There's really not. That's it. I mean, it's as genuine as I can make it. It's as real as I can make it. I wish I had a better way of saying it. I'm not the best of words at all times. But it really, really means a lot. So thank you guys very much. I want each and every one of you guys to have the very best of luck this weekend. I hope that what I bring, what I offer to you guys helps you in some kind of way. Hey, get after them, man. When fishing is life, you just got to get out there and live that fish life, if you know what I'm saying. So thank you guys so much, so much. And we'll see you guys next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.